So let's make something clear from the start of the video. We at VG Tribune don't have very much experience in reviewing PC hardware, but EVGA has been kind enough to help us with getting started by providing us with their latest graphics card, the GeForce GTX 950. So to give some background on this card, it's the latest in the 900 series, and is designed for gamers on a budget, with a price tag starting at $160. Compared to some other prices for higher end cards, this is amazingly cheap. But let's take a look at the specs before we move on. This is the super clocked, or SSC version of the card. So the base clock is at 1190 MHz, with a boost clock speed of 1393 MHz. This puts the base clock 38 MHz higher than the basic super clocked version, and the boost clock 51 MHz higher. Not a huge difference in all honesty, but it is only a $10 difference between the prices. The memory clock on it is 6610 MHz with 768 CUDA cores, 2 GB of GDDR5 memory, and memory bandwidth at 105.76 GB per second. If we take a look at the physical dimensions of the card in the case, it's pretty big, but that's kind of a standard for good graphics cards now. There's no denying it looks good in the case, and as long as you're good with cable management, it shouldn't take up too much room. One thing that I did notice after having it in two different cases is that there's not a ton of room for cables to plug in the back, so you have to kind of force them. In fact, I actually had to cut part of my case off so I could actually fit this DisplayPort adapter in. It does have a good amount of ports though, with 3 display ports, 1 HDMI port, and a DVI port. The covers it comes with over the ports are nice as well, since that keeps dust out. The downside to that is that when you need to take them off, it's pretty difficult because of the lack of room. These are things I can look past, because once you have the cables you need in, you shouldn't have a problem. Now let's take a look at the important part, how games actually run with the card. Because this is an NVIDIA card, it works with their GeForce Experience program, which allows you to put your games at optimal settings depending on your hardware, and features Shadowplay, NVIDIA's video capture program that gives absolute minimal effect on game performance, unlike other capture programs like Fraps. I'll be using Shadowplay for these recordings, and you'll be able to see the frame rate in the top right corner of the screen. Additionally, my full spec list will be available in the description of this video and below in the article on VG Tribune. Alright, so let's start by taking a look at the phantom pain. So, let's take a look at the options so you can see what graphic settings I'm using here. I've got it on full screen at 1080. Most things are at extra high or high. I have depth of field disabled, but that's just a matter of preference. So, let's take a look at the gameplay.
Careful down there, boss.
Alright, so here we are in actual gameplay, and I should actually probably check where I'm supposed to be going. So, we gotta go over here, set the waypoint, over that way. Got it. So as you can see, we're still running at 60 FPS, and it's going pretty well so far. It might dip a bit if we were to get into heavier combat, but we'll see about that. Sorry if there's a lot of noise coming from my keyboard and mouse. It can definitely make a lot of noise there. My microphone is set down on my desk, so it's
You gotta extract
kind
him.
of picks up noise through the desk. Okay. Well, we might get into combat here faster than expected. Yep, okay. Okay. And, I'm relearning the controls here. I haven't played this in a little bit, and I've mostly played with a PlayStation controller. So, whoops. Alright, so now let's take a look at Mad Max. So let's check the settings first before anything. Graphic settings. So we have things set to ultra high, very high, high, very high, a bunch of stuff on. Actually nothing that is off. We have the only things that are anywhere below high are just fog and particle effects and depth of field quality. We have that set to normal. So let's see how the game runs. I can just go in between 59, 60, and 61. Always staying up near that 60 mark. Visuals are still fantastic. Oh wait. Which?
Please let us tear this unholiness down!
Okay. I guess I'll just go to any waypoint. Oh jeez. Oh no. How about let's not go there, actually. Anywhere but there. Okay. Let's not. Okay, come on. What do you... Okay, there's the boost. Whoa! The car may need some repairs here. But we'll worry about that in just a minute. This game does have very nice visuals. The sand looks really good. The sky looks really good. Vehicles. This is honestly just a very, very graphically impressive game, and amazingly well optimized for PC. So you can see why it might run very well on the GTX 950. Alright, next let's take a look at Alien Isolation. So let's take a look at the options, of course. Video. Okay, so we got things on Ultra, on, standard. SSAO is standard. Texture filtering is anisotropic, that word, 16. Anti-aliasing is SMAA, T1X. So, yeah, I have it set on pretty high settings here, and it is going well so far, with it running at 60 FPS. So, let's get to the game. See, that's really annoying. These guys get to go through this door before I even get the chance to go anywhere near it.
Someone will be with you shortly.
Yeah, so we're running at 60 FPS, 1080p, the way it should be. And it is really nice because, you know, this is a game that's optimized for a, it's optimized for an AMD card. And I'm using a budget NVIDIA card, and I'm still getting smooth, consistent frame rates. And very, very nice visuals, fantastic shading and lighting. Just wonderful.
Some kind of tracker.
Okay.
It's been modified.
We got some kind of tracker. So. Okay. So there's something coming up here.
I'm lost.
It's just this guy.
No problem.
Okay, it's pretty clear that part was just trying to, you know, freak me out a little. Alright. Door override. Manual lock on the door leading upstairs. Don't want any accidents until we figure out what's going on here. Okay, that doesn't help me much. Okay, oh, door access. Okay. I guess that's what I was supposed to do. Alright, now let's take a look at Rocket League. So, let's check the options here. For video, we got high quality on texture detail and world detail, everything checked. Anti-aliasing off. Why would I do that? Okay, that's fixed. So, yeah, it looks like, You know what? Let's just go ahead and turn on vertical sync. This isn't a game I play very often, so that may be why those settings were like that. But you can see that it's still running at 60 FPS pretty consistently. And it definitely looks pretty good. I don't know how much I could really say about this one. It's Rocket League. It runs well, and that's all that really matters. At least when talking about graphic settings and everything. God, nobody wants to get this ball in. No! Oh no. What have I done? Oh no. I've made a horrible mistake. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna rectify that. Or maybe not. Okay. Come. Damn it. Oh, my energy thing is empty. That's solved. Oh, yeah. Now, I wasn't the one who did that, but, you know, I might as well have done. You know, whatever. Here we go again. Okay. Oh, no. Right. Come on. We got 1 minute left on this round. Nope. That didn't work out. Come on. Okay. Where's that? There it is. I really should just keep it on ball cam. I hope you guys are keeping an eye on the frame counter, because I haven't been. I mean, every time I've looked at it, it's been either 59 or 60. Or 61. So that's good. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, it's over. We totally lost. Oh! Oh! Oh man! That was absolute last second. Oh my god, I'm glad I was recording this. That was great. Wow. Okay. At this point, I can't end the recording till this is over. Because this is like... This is great now. And... Taco King, you saved it. Alright, now let's take a look at the recent release, Fallout 4. So, if we're taking a look at the settings here, I've got it on full screen. It's not on windowed mode. Got it on TAA for anti-aliasing, 16 samples, anisotropic filtering, ultra on textures, high on shadows, shadow distance. I do not want, I really don't want shadow distance on ultra. That's there's been a lot of issues that have come out about shadow distance being on high and God rays. So, decal quantity, ultra, lighting quality, ultra, and all this on. So, let's take a look at the game. I'm actually kind of surprised that it's sticking up around 60 right now. It almost never does. So, that's definitely a good thing. Very good thing. So I'm currently on a quest where I need to find some holotapes. And I'm going around to different police stations to find them. I guess let's try to go to this one. 29. Okay, 60.
We got some fine bots in this race.
Alright, so we're not that far from the police station that I'm trying to get to. As with every Bethesda game, you gotta expect that this has a lot of glitches, a lot of issues, and they're probably never going to solve all of them, which is why it's left up to modders to fix it. And I hope some modders figure it out fast. So, I guess that's where I gotta get up to. This terminal right here. So, the winter holotape logs. And, okay. So I guess the holotape is in the desk. There it is. So hopefully this gave you a good idea of what EVGA 950 is capable of, and believe me, it's a lot. This is way more than I expected for a budget card, and for those of us who can't afford something as amazing as a 980 Ti, this is more than passable. I did initially have some problems with games not running well, or starting good, and then just progressively getting worse, but after playing around with some settings a little, it was pretty much solved. I think that has more to do with Windows 10 not being in a perfect state yet, and I have seen a lot of people online complaining about NVIDIA not working with Windows 10 well, so hopefully that'll be fixed soon in the future. So if you'd like to read more about the 950 or about any of EVGA's cards, just head over to their site and just see whatever looks good to you. And stay tuned on VG Tribune for more news and reviews. See you guys.